Ladies and gentlemen, let me start with a simple question. What kind of person do you want to become? It's a question most people avoid because it demands introspection and honesty, two things we often shy away from. But here's the truth. If you're not working intentionally toward becoming the person you admire, you're unconsciously becoming someone you don't. Discipline is the foundation upon which a meaningful and fulfilling life is built. It is not glamorous, nor does it offer immediate rewards, but it is the quiet force that propels us forward, shaping who we are through consistent action over time. Discipline is the ability to do what needs to be done, even when motivation is absent, even when it is inconvenient, and especially when no one else is watching. It is the antidote to chaos and the architect of progress. Without discipline, even the most ambitious dreams remain intangible. The essence of discipline lies in its simplicity, small, deliberate choices made repeatedly. It's the decision to wake up on time, to tackle your responsibilities head on, to delay gratification for a greater reward down the line. It's not about monumental gestures or grand sacrifices. It's about showing up every single day and doing what needs to be done, no matter how mundane or difficult it feels. When you embrace discipline, you realize that progress is less about inspiration and more about persistence. It's about pushing through the moments when giving up feels easier, knowing that each step forward, however small, compounds into significant change over time. Discipline is the force that bridges the gap between intention and action. Many people have dreams, goals, and aspirations, but few turn them into reality. Why? Because they lack the discipline to follow through. They wait for the perfect moment, the ideal circumstances, or the surge of motivation that never comes. Discipline doesn't wait, it acts. It understands that conditions will never be perfect, and that waiting is a form of procrastination disguised as caution. Discipline gets up and does the work even when the odds feel stacked against it. One of the most powerful aspects of discipline is its ability to build momentum. At first, it feels uncomfortable, even unnatural, because you are challenging old habits and stepping into new patterns. But over time, as you remain consistent, what once felt like a struggle becomes second nature. The act of discipline rewires your brain, helping you form habits that make success easier to sustain. Each small victory reinforces your confidence, and each accomplishment fuels your belief in your ability to tackle greater challenges. Momentum, once built, becomes a powerful ally. Discipline is also a declaration of self-respect. When you commit to discipline, you are telling yourself that your goals and your potential are worth the effort. It is an act of valuing your time and energy, refusing to squander them on distractions or fleeting comforts. Discipline demands that you prioritize what truly matters over what feels good in the moment. It requires you to confront your weaknesses, to face the discomfort of growth, and to acknowledge that success is earned, not handed out. Through discipline, you gain a sense of control over your life. While you cannot control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond. Discipline gives you the tools to respond with intention, focus, and resilience. It allows you to build a life aligned with your values, one deliberate choice at a time. Taking responsibility is one of the most transformative decisions a person can make. It is the moment you decide to stop blaming external circumstances, other people, or even bad luck for your challenges, and start acknowledging your role in shaping your own life. This is not about taking on blame for everything that has ever gone wrong. It's about recognizing the power you have to respond to life's difficulties with agency and purpose. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a path to freedom, because once you take ownership of your life, you also gain the ability to change it. The instinct to deflect responsibility is deeply ingrained. It feels easier to point the finger at something outside of ourselves when things go wrong. After all, life can be unfair, and many situations genuinely are beyond our control. But focusing on what we cannot control is a recipe for stagnation. When you blame the economy, your upbringing, or the actions of others, you surrender your power to improve your circumstances. Responsibility, on the other hand, shifts your focus inward. It asks, what can I do to make this better? What part of this can I own? By answering those questions, you regain the ability to act, to adapt, and to grow. Taking responsibility requires honesty, an unflinching look at your own choices, behaviors, and attitudes. It means admitting when you've made mistakes or fallen short of your potential. This can be uncomfortable, even painful, because it forces you to confront parts of yourself that you may prefer to ignore. But in that discomfort lies opportunity. When you accept responsibility for where you are, you can begin charting a course toward where you want to be. One of the most empowering aspects of responsibility is that it turns obstacles into opportunities for growth. Life is filled with challenges, some of which may seem insurmountable at first glance, but when you take responsibility, you view these challenges differently. Instead of seeing them as unfair burdens, you see them as tests of character, as chances to build resilience, patience, and wisdom. Responsibility doesn't mean that life becomes easier, it means that you become stronger. Taking responsibility also extends to how you treat others. It involves recognizing the impact of your words and actions on those around you and striving to act with integrity and compassion. It means owning up to your mistakes when they hurt others and doing what you can to make amends. Responsibility in this sense is not only about personal growth, but also about contributing positively to the world. When you take responsibility, you shift from being a passive participant in your life to an active creator of it. You stop waiting for someone else to fix things and instead take steps to fix them yourself. This shift is not always easy, but it is profoundly liberating. Responsibility gives you control, purpose, and the ability to shape your future. It is the foundation upon which a meaningful and fulfilling life is built. Setting a vision for your life is one of the most important and transformative steps you can take. Without a clear direction, life can feel aimless, like a ship adrift at sea without a destination. A vision gives you purpose. It provides a reason to get out of bed every morning and face the challenges of the day. It's not just about having goals. It's about aligning those goals with a deeper understanding of who you are and what kind of life you want to live. A vision serves as your compass, guiding your actions and decisions, even in moments of doubt or difficulty. Creating a vision starts with asking yourself fundamental questions. What do I value most? What kind of person do I want to become? What legacy do I want to leave behind? These are not easy questions, and they require time and reflection. It's tempting to adopt someone else's vision, one defined by societal expectations or external pressures, but a true vision must come from within. It's about identifying what genuinely matters to you, not what others think should matter. This requires honesty and courage, as it may lead you to question the path you're currently on or the priorities you've been pursuing. A clear vision is not just a vague dream or wishful thinking. It is specific and actionable. It's not enough to say, I want to be successful or I want to be happy. What does success look like to you? What does happiness mean in your life? The more detailed your vision, the easier it becomes to translate it into actionable steps. For instance, if your vision involves building a meaningful career, break it down. What skills do you need to acquire? What relationships do you need to nurture? What habits must you develop to get there? A vision without action is merely a fantasy, but a vision with a plan becomes a roadmap to your future. Setting a vision also requires you to think long-term. In a world that often prioritizes instant gratification, it can be challenging to focus on the future. But a compelling vision pulls you forward. It motivates you to endure short-term discomfort for long-term fulfillment. It reminds you that the sacrifices you make today, whether it's working late hours, investing in your education, or prioritizing facing your fears courageously, is one of the most transformative acts you can undertake. Fear is a universal experience. It touches everyone in different forms, whether it's fear of failure, rejection, uncertainty, or even fear of success. While fear can feel overwhelming, it is not inherently bad. In fact, fear often points directly to areas in your life where growth is possible. The things you are afraid to confront are often the very things that, once addressed, unlock your potential. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to act in spite of it. To face fear, you must first acknowledge it. Many people try to ignore their fears, hoping they will fade away, But avoidance only allows fear to grow, taking up more mental and emotional space in your life. By naming your fear and bringing it into the light, you strip it of some of its power. Instead of being an unspoken, shadowy force, it becomes a challenge that you can address. Awareness is the first step toward transformation. It requires honesty. You have to be willing to admit what scares you and why. Confronting fear demands vulnerability because it often forces you to step into the unknown. This is where courage comes in. Courage is not an innate trait reserved for the fearless. It is a skill you develop through practice. The first step might feel daunting, but every small act of bravery builds your capacity for more. Whether it's speaking up in a meeting, pursuing a dream you've been postponing, or having a difficult conversation, each time you face fear, you strengthen your confidence and resilience. Over time, you begin to realize that fear is not an impenetrable wall, but a barrier you are capable of breaking through. One of the most important lessons in facing fear is understanding that failure is not the end. Many fears are rooted in the belief that failure is catastrophic, but this is rarely true. Failure is a natural part of growth. It teaches you valuable lessons and provides clarity about what does and doesn't work. The fear of failure often diminishes when you reframe it as an opportunity to learn and improve. Each time you fail, you gain experience and insight, making you better prepared for future challenges. Another crucial aspect of facing fear is recognizing that it often distorts reality. Fear tends to exaggerate the worst-case scenario, making it seem more likely or more disastrous than it truly is. By challenging these assumptions, you can begin to see your fears more objectively. Ask yourself, what's the worst that could happen? How likely is that outcome? And even if it does happen, could I handle it? These questions often reveal that your fears are less formidable than they appeared at first. Facing fear is about reclaiming your life. Fear thrives on avoidance and grows when left unchallenged. But when you confront it directly, you weaken its grip. The act of facing your fears, no matter how small or large, empowers you to take control of your narrative rather than letting fear dictate your actions. Each step forward builds momentum, helping you discover courage you didn't know you had. Building a meaningful life rather than settling for comfort is a choice that defines the trajectory of your existence. Comfort, while tempting, is fleeting and often shallow. It offers temporary relief but lacks the depth and satisfaction that comes from pursuing something truly significant. Meaning, on the other hand, demands effort, sacrifice, and resilience, but it rewards you with a profound sense of purpose and fulfillment that comfort could never provide. It challenges you to look beyond the immediate and the easy, asking you to focus on what truly matters in the long term. The pursuit of comfort is instinctive. It is part of human nature to seek safety, predictability, and ease. Modern life amplifies this tendency, offering endless ways to distract, numb, and insulate ourselves from discomfort. From entertainment to convenience, it is easy to slip into a routine of avoiding challenge and seeking pleasure. But this avoidance comes at a cost. A life focused on comfort becomes stagnant. It may feel safe, but it often lacks direction and substance. Comfort, by its very nature, is passive. It asks nothing of you, and in return, it gives you nothing lasting. Meaning, in contrast, requires you to engage actively with life. It calls you to take responsibility, to strive, and to confront difficulties head on. It is found in the effort to build something larger than yourself, whether that is raising a family, pursuing a calling, or contributing to your community. Meaning doesn't come pre-packaged or handed to you. It must be created through your actions, choices, and commitments. The pursuit of meaning often involves discomfort because it pushes you beyond your limits. It asks you to grow, to stretch, and to become more than you were before. To build meaning, you must first identify what you value most deeply. This process requires introspection and honesty. What do you care about so deeply that you are willing to endure hardship for it? It might be your relationships, your work, or a cause that resonates with you. Once you identify your values, the next step is to align your actions with them. This alignment is where meaning is created. When your life reflects your core values, you experience a sense of purpose that sustains you through even the most challenging times. Choosing meaning over comfort often involves short-term sacrifice. It means doing what is difficult and uncomfortable in the moment because it serves a greater purpose. It might mean working late to perfect a project you care about, having a tough conversation to preserve a meaningful relationship, or facing your fears to pursue a dream. These choices are not easy, but they are necessary. Over time, they build a life rich in purpose and satisfaction, one that you can look back on with pride, knowing you did not settle for the easy path. Ultimately, meaning is what gives life its depth. It allows you to endure hardships, overcome obstacles, and persist when the odds seem stacked against you. It is not found in avoiding pain or seeking constant pleasure, but in the pursuit of something that matters, something that makes all the effort worthwhile.